Hey guys, and welcome to another spawner tutorial video. This episode I'm going to be showing you how to make a quad gas spawner. And those are going to be using the spawners found in these ghast houses here. So this is the structure you're looking for. You can find them all over the place. This is actually a weird one with the walls kind of spawning out over the top of a slope here. Usually I've found them in kind of like flat areas, but you'll find them all over the place. I haven't found any specific restrictions apart from the fact that they spawn over land as far as I've seen. And there's actually a bunch of goodies in here, and there's a bunch of risks involved with these as well. So this is not a low tech build like some of the designs I've done are, where you don't even need to be able to make buckets or move water or anything, but you will need a few bits and pieces. The items in my hotbar, one thing I forgot we also need is a liquid drainer, because you're going to need to be able to move source blocks around. So these ones, these are made from, where are they? Yeah, there you go. Brass mechanical boards, which take a little bit of iron, as well as just brass and redstone and stuff. These cylinders, which are, well, you can make them with iron. You don't need to be in the steel age. So, again, to make the pistons as well, you need to be in the iron age, basically. Fans are pretty simple as well. Just some iron bars. You can actually loot those from the roguelike dungeons, like you can see in the top left corner there. But you do still need a little bit of iron to make these metal chains, or I guess you can make them with tin, but you'll need iron for the tubes anyway. So, long story short, you need to be reasonably far into cogs of the machine so that you can make the liquid drainer. You can make a bunch of these fans. You're going to need 16 of those to make the quad, or 4 for a single, but we'll be showing you the quad. Pendulums are pretty simple to make. They're just stone and wood. And then you're going to need a whole bunch of cogwheels. You're actually going to need a few stacks of these. It doesn't have to be gold. It can be the brass ones if you got tons of brass laying around. They will do just fine, but I'm going to go for the gold ones because they don't lose speed. If you are looking for a way of gathering the resources for stuff like this, everything except for the iron and redstone can be gotten in huge quantities from a zombie pigman farm. I've got a tutorial for a pretty simple and easy to set up early game double zombie pigman farm, which I'll put a link to in the top right corner. But yeah, so you find yourselves one of these ghast houses. First thing to note is that these are trapped. If you need pistons, and pistons are ridiculously expensive to make, so I would definitely recommend doing this, you can actually go through here and you can get a whole bunch of pistons and redstone and all kinds of goodness just by digging out the area around the entrance to this thing. Be careful not to trigger it or to fall into here. You can kind of see the badness already. Let's get a night vision potion, just so you guys can see. This is a like a dungeon made up out of levels. Yeah, you can see these things spawn with some pretty horrific stats on them, enchants and things. And there's several levels. I'm just going to put this into peaceful so it's not as distracting. There are spawners all over the place in these layers. If you find these little piles of rocks and you look inside them, I would recommend breaking these as you go down so you don't get ambushed on the way out. Not every rock formation has them, like that one doesn't there, but many of them do. And if you're finding you're coming back up and there's kind of gas in the way, that means you missed a spawner, basically. So we're good here. As always, there are challenging parts to these kinds of builds. I'd say clearing out these gas is the biggest one, and dealing with the gas as you're building the rest of the farm is another big one. Is there one in here? No, it looks like we're okay on that side. What about in here? Yeah, there's another one. Keep clearing them out. You might have to go far away and then come back again. If the gas are getting a little bit much, it might also be helpful to get yourself like a bow or something. There we go, there's one there. Chest, you can get a few decent bits of loot in here, nothing spectacular. But eventually, when you get down to the bottom, There's probably something in here somewhere as well. But you get down to the bottom and you get this layer which has tons and tons and tons of this flaxbeard stuff, so that's great. But far more importantly and relevant to us is you get 4 ghast spawners, 1 in each corner of this room. So I will show you what we're going to be doing with those right now. Right, okay, I've cleared this out, and I will kind of show you what's happened here. So there's the entrance down from the layer above. I've dug out the space around these spawners. This is kind of like a standard practice when you're working with these things, because we want to make as much use of the spawn space around them as possible. Now, if I break this down a little bit, the spawners are here. And that means normally, when you come into this room, the floor is at this level, and you'll see them in the corners. Like so. So where are we? Yeah, so there'd be 1 in that corner of the room, 1 in that corner, and that corner. And I've basically just dug out the space around it. So that's 4 blocks in each direction. Well, in fact, I'll leave that exposed so we can see. 4 blocks this way, this way, this way, and this way. And then I've gone down so that we've got the space below the spawner, obviously the Y corner of the spawner, and the space above it free. And that's kind of the spawn area of each of these. We want to maximize that. And then we're going to convert that space into compartments. And the reason for that is these ghasts are slightly bigger than 1 block. So they take up more space than this. They actually slightly leak over into the blocks around them. I think they're about 1.5 blocks by about 1.5 blocks. It's hard to get an exact measurement on them. But the important thing is they are bigger than 1 block. And what we're going to be using to kill these things is a fan, and we're going to suck them up into it and suffocate them. And if we have the fan over this middle block, any gas that spawns in any of these spaces around it will get sucked up above it into the fan. So we need space to let them spawn, and we still need to have the fan above that so it's not leaking into the spawn space. We're going to actually have it on the 4th layer. And the way that I think is best to actually construct this, because don't forget, the whole time you're working on this, there are going to be ghast spawning everywhere, so be prepared for that, is to actually build it in compartments. So if I, whatever, let's just do it this way. If I come back down, if you know your spawner's there, dig out this compartment, and then leave yourself a doorway. Go in, dig out the next bit, doorway, dig out the next bit, and so forth until you've done all 4 compartments. That seems to be the easiest way to be doing it under fire. I've tried a few bits and pieces, but since I can't get them to stop spawning in survival, I think that's the best thing. Because you've got this high wall. This wall is 4 high. So remember I said that this, and this are the spawn height of it. Give yourself an extra block on the top. So you want this space to be 4 blocks tall. Once you've done 1 set of chambers, just dig through 1, 2, 3 blocks towards the next thing, and then it's another 3-block chamber, and you just rinse and repeat. Our spawner's in the middle here. So you've done that one, and then you dig another 3 blocks and do the next one. 4 chambers there, and then another 3 blocks, and you do the last 4 chambers, and this will link back to where we started. By the time you've done that, you have all 4 spawners cleared out and all your spawn chambers done. We want this over here like this. Yeah, we should be good. And it might be helpful for you to actually build your roof as you're going. So I've done it on these ones ahead of time. I wanted to leave this open so you could see the dimensions and things, but you don't want gas above you shooting down at you. So as you're working, it might be worth actually building yourself a little roof. If you want, you can do the whole thing, but you're going to have to break this block out when you get to this stage. So all the chambers are built now, and we need to add in our killing mechanism. So what we're going to do is for every single one of these compartments, poke out that top layer if you haven't done it already. Add a fan. That's it. So 1, and 2. Oops. Yeah, it is actually really easy to get disoriented in here, so don't be disheartened if that happens. Be prepared for it. Which one have I missed? There we go, this one. Okay, and then you're going to keep doing that for every single chamber. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is much easier than it will be in survival because, again, you're going to be fighting gas each step of the way. I would probably recommend getting yourself a bow or a crossbow or something for killing the ones with the potion effects on them from a distance. Just makes your life much easier. Once you're done, you basically need to get outside of here. Again, in my single player, I just went to one of these 3 long tunnels and I made a little shaft to get out of it with a ladder. And then we need to build up around each fan like this. Just a little ring. 8 blocks all the way around them. I will do this for all of them, and then I'll cut back in. Once you've got your ring around all of them like this, you can see I've kind of jumped ahead on the other sections. We just need to set up the power mechanism for these fans. So take your pendulum. Let's see, we'll put it here, just facing into the corridor between these rings here. Cogwheels down, make a corridor of these cogwheels between the 2 sets of rings. Go up on either side, over the top, and wrap it down onto the fans themselves. So do that for every single one of them. This is what you need all of those cogs for. And it goes. Let's hit the power on it. Now the thing about these, I'm not sure whether you can ever stop gas from spawning, but having light in areas does seem to slow them down. So that makes me believe that we want to have the inside of these chambers as dark as possible. If I put a block over this, it doesn't actually stop these 2 cogs from connecting together. They'll keep spinning, but it does stop light from coming through where these fans are. This means it'll now be, once you've removed any torches or whatever you have down there, it'll be pitch black inside the spawning chambers. So these are all hooked up now, but the odds are good, because they seem to be every time I set this up, that the fans are the wrong way, and nothing, even if they were the right way, gas would not be getting sucked up into the fan. I'll show you why. Because this ring of blocks here is stopping the gas from being sucked up into the fan. So this is the final dangerous part of the design, is that we need to go through every single one of these chambers one last time, clear out the blocks around the fan, and make sure the fan is sucking instead of blowing. So you can sort of see the particles coming out of that, little puffs of like smoke particles, and they're moving downwards. That means the fan is blowing things instead of pulling them towards it. So right click it with a crank, or I've got this clockwork cane, and then do that for every single one of them. It's now pulling them up. Pulling them up. And there we go. And just repeat that for every single section. So I'll do that now. Oh, that noise! I won't leave that on for too long. It's just so you know that this thing is working. They're spawning in the chambers. They're getting sucked up into the fans, and they're getting suffocated, and all of their delicious drops are just falling onto the floor and getting wasted. So the last thing we need to do is set up the collection area for all of this loot. So honestly, let's turn them off because they're going to drive me absolutely crazy. The easiest thing to do is to just dig down underneath them, and basically we're just going to be clearing this space out. We want to have a nice big gap underneath the entire structure. There we go, we don't need this floor. Underneath all of these chambers, we want every single one of them to be exposed on the way down. So I'm going to do that now, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So again, you should be pretty much safe while you're doing this, because anytime they spawn, they should get instantly sucked up into those fans. But I wouldn't hang around for too long if they're above you, just in case. But you should be free to dig out this entire space underneath the spawn chambers, right up and flush with the wall on each side. Once you've done that, identify your middle again. Decide which way you want the loot to flow towards you. So I'm going to do this as one wall, and literally just put source blocks all the way along. So if you do it every other block, it'll actually fill in the ones in between. And it'll push it to here, and then do the same on the other side. And we're going to have another channel underneath here. dig this out. In fact, let's do one here. Oh, of course, we're out of water. 1 second. Let's just grab some more. I made a little source block. You're probably going to have to make a couple of trips out to refill your liquid drainer. And there we go. Yep, 10. Jump down. In fact, we could probably do this whole other side now. So yeah, this side as well. Every other block. Like so. And one down at the end. And it should almost... Yep, there we go. All the loot's going to get pushed right underneath where you drop down. This is not the most elegant solution. I kind of said in my single player that I would come up with a better design for this. But if you have ladders... Don't need those signs. And you drop down to this point every so often, you should get all of the loot dropping down and collecting here. In fact, let's put it onto hard. Sorry about the noise. This guy's got a hat on. Nice hat, diamond block. Classy, classy. It'll be dying, dropping down. I think our vision's going. There you go. All the loot gets dropped straight down and collects here. You might find a couple of random items getting stuck on the far ends of these blocks. Oops, that was a mistake. Forgot we're in creative. It shouldn't happen too often. You should get almost everything just by standing right here. Stuff will continue spawning while you're in this spot as well. So it should be just fine. However, you're getting tons and tons of gunpowder and gas tiers. And you can use those once you've got a carpenter and use your iron to make a vacuum hopper. One of these, oops. Recipe. These infernal block slabs, you make carbonite out of those, and the gas tiers and the gunpowder can be used to make the sulfuric acid. So basically you've got everything you need to make infernal block slabs, everything you need to make vacuum hoppers. You can stick one of those where we're standing right here, feed it into pipes going straight up to a collection area, and you are going to need quite a lot of storage for these. The rates of this is actually quite good, I think. I'm sure there could be better designs, but this is what I worked out. It seemed to be... Oh, there you go. Saw some popping up. Seems to produce a lot of resources. You'll have more gas tiers than you know what to do with, but gunpowder, of course, there are lots of uses for, especially powder kegs. So I hope you found this design useful. If you have any feedback or any requests or anything, just let me know in the comments, and I will do my best to address those or to maybe make some videos for you guys in the future. Otherwise, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.